Great day, everyone. This is Jason Santos, and for today, we are going to continue the discussion of international business and trade. So, last time we are at the topic identifying trade opportunities and analyzing domestic capabilities, part one. And now we are going to continue that topic. We have international market research, analyzing domestic capabilities, and assessing export. So first, as we open this topic, let's try to define what international market research is. So we have already established in our previous discussion that all countries in the world are blessed with different resources, capabilities, which is now up for its people to harness. So the government and its leaders must see these opportunities and harness the resource. And this can all be accomplished through a process called international market research. So the international market research is a key area in the field of exporting where business and economy analyze the potential demand and for all their target countries of export. So to put it simply, you use the international market research as a tool in which you identify um, potential markets, what products to export, so on and so forth. So market research is also defined as the process of collecting, analyzing, and interpreting data about your target market consumers, competitors, and the industry as a whole. In the international market research, we have a process which has different steps. The first step would be to develop research questions. Second is to conduct the actual research. Third is to review potential markets. And four, develop and export. So the research will begin with the first step of developing the questions, looking for areas of opportunity within a market, and then from several questions, it drills down to a large selection to a few markets to concentrate on. Then the second step would deal with the actual research conducted in the foreign marketplace, surveys, actual interviews, and immersion. You can also gather data through second-hand sources like statistical data reports, journals, and the like. And this is also good because it means that the data gatherer would have to spend lesser money. The third step involves reviewing potential markets. And then the data gathered from primary and secondary market are now used and tested for consistent growth, whether specific regions should be targeted or not. And what is the type of consumer demand? So the business needs to ensure all areas are covered before going to the final phase of the market research. And then finally, the export plan will now be developed containing all the details such as strategies, operational plans, capitalization, and funding. And then this will be presented to the foreign target country and would have to wait for approval. Now, these projects are usually viewed as long-term, which is why the approval process could take months or even a year to come to fruition. Another way of determining export industries is to use the export potential map. This is one of the tools that you can actually use. And export potential map provides rapid and robust results for finding suppliers, markets, and products with untapped export potential, as well as promising opportunities of product diversification. So, for example, Colombia, a country known for its coffee exports, they support 11 billion worth of coffee products worldwide. And through an export potential map, the product possibilities across the globe are scanned for potentials. So, upon further studies, they have determined that there's an opportunity to also export bananas. A report showed that out of the 1.8 billion worth of market potential, the actual exports are just 1.3 billion. So that means there's still a gap or a difference of 500 million as an untapped export market. Colombia could still exploit this. After all, banana is a product that could go hand in hand with coffee restaurants or coffee shops, or just for consumer markets in general. This makes more sense as it is a relative plant-based product aside from coffee. So using the export potential map, you can come up with this. There are a lot of softwares that you can use nowadays to help you produce an export potential. It would give you the list of countries, how much supply do they still need, or untapped potentials waiting for someone to exploit or for a country to exploit it. Like for example, out of 469.6 million worth of coffee products, what's only being served is 156.8 million. So again, there's a gap, okay, that we can fulfill. The same manner, Morocco has this export potential map. Like for example, they are exporting wiring sets for vehicles and only delivering 78% of it. So it means that there's still 22% waiting to be accommodated, maybe by another country or maybe by the same country. They just need to increase their production. And it goes for all of the products that they are exporting. Now, if you are a partner country, you could also look at some of their other offerings and enter an export agreement with them. Okay. Another way of assessing export industries is the use of a market analysis map, or simply just what we call the positioning map. It illustrates the range of positions that a product can take in the market based on two dimensions. It is brought upon by market research and helps place a variety of different brands of businesses in terms of how they try to compete. The way the market works is it takes two dimensions, so there will be two dimensions. In this example, we have taste and health. So let's say your product is this one. This is your brand. Just pull up my pointer. And then you have brand B, which offers higher taste and more healthy products. You also have competitors such as a brand A, which is tasty but less healthy, and brand C, which is less tasty but a little bit more healthy. So it's up to you to determine where would you like to position your product. In the same manner, you can also create a market analysis map for a product, which the dimensions are price and quality. So you have products with higher price and higher quality, lower price, middle, median quality, and let's say for brand B, lower quality and lower price. So you could use this to assess where you are positioning your product in the market. So the market analysis map can be used for sugar alternatives like Equal, Domino Sugar, and Truvia. So here you can see that these sugar alternatives are positioned in certain types of market. So some prefer higher taste but are more natural, and Equal caters a certain niche or consumers which has little preference for taste and it being healthy. But of course, the price is lower as compared to other sugar alternatives. Finally, we have export performance index, or EPI, and it is used to assess and monitor different dimensions of export performance and product competitiveness in sectors and regions. The export performance of a country measures the changes of its market shares and are assessed in volume terms. So most performance indexes are fixed at the year 2005. Okay, but there are still data that can be gathered prior to 2005. So here's an example, and this is another example of export performance index. You can see that the country has varying performance, and of course, this is relative to the size of their country. Like for example, Italy, who used to be exporting at 100 million quantity, finally settling at around 85 to 80 million. And then you can see that their trend is downwards, while Portugal, starting from 100 millions in quantity, going upwards to 115 and 100. Now, to put this into context, the Philippines was once called the Milan of Asia back in the 90s because we were one of the best producers or exporters of furniture products, globally renowned for its quality and beautiful designs. But from a peak of nearly 400 furnitures, it has downgraded into only 90 players, which means that there are around 300 plus of former furniture makers who have went out of business. So a lot of these furniture makers have been struggling to go big, despite of the popularity of furnitures. Sadly, the government now only sells the wood directly to the manufacturers in Myanmar and Indonesia instead of having it manufactured. So while Manila has been enjoying strong economic growth for the past year, its exporters have been struggling to keep up with the growth, significantly slowing down in 2018 and was suffering a further contraction in 2019. One of the main reasons as to why these businesses have failed, it's because of the lack of infrastructure and transportation. Come to think of it, if if these furnitures are coming from province and has to be transported to Manila, it would incur exportation costs or transportation costs rather. So in the end, it would cost more as compared to countries who has more efficient transportation, no? Because the price would have to be carried over as a markup for the price of the furniture. Otherwise, they would be at a loss. Okay. That's just one of the many reasons. Another would be corruption, red tape. Thus, the enactment of Anti-Red Tape Act in 2007. You know, having too much requirements, it's not easy to put up business in the Philippines. So you would have to fulfill a lot of permits, barangay permit, city permit. You have to pay this, you have to pay that. Okay. So it's the capitalization is really high before you can start putting up a business. Thus, the issue now is the government has shifted its priorities to information technology, health, and COVID response project, which means that the furniture manufacturing industry may expect less assistance from the government and threats of it ceasing in the export market. So that wraps up the discussion. I hope you have learned something from this very short lecture. For more videos like this, please check out my playlists and follow me on all the social media platforms. So thank you so much. To God be all the glory till our next video.